Wondering what you learned about what makes it safer and how it feels to play with it on.
Yeah, well, I'm still trying to feel it out. So, what better time to feel it out than OTAs? I heard it's supposedly better than the helmet that I had wearing last year. So, if it could be that much more safe, then, why not give it a shot?
So you're not sure it's what you'll go with? Not sure you're still feeling it out?
Yeah, still feeling it out, yeah.
Tua looks like.
So Tua is feeling out what it feels like to wear a new helmet, a more protective helmet for his noggin. And he's trying it out during OTAs. And for the first time, really, he's taken to the podium, the outdoor podium, and he's taking questions about A, his helmet and how he feels, B, what he's done physically to prepare himself for this season, C, he's talking about playing against and practicing against Vic Fangio's defense. So we're going to take a listen to all the stuff that Tua had to say recently, and it's really interesting. And I'm going to show you a little drill they did that a lot of people, once again on social media, are picking all apart. So Tua's feeling out the helmet, and he's going to decide which one he wants to wear, which one protects him better from, possible concussion. So in this next clip, he's talking about what he's doing, basically physically, to get ready for the new season.
So what are you trying to work on?
Well, I'm trying to work on everything. As much as I'm trying to work on throwing the ball, getting the ball to the guys, being able to push the ball a lot more downfield.
That's interesting. For somebody who threw the ball well downfield last year, he's looking to push the ball even further downfield now.
Getting in the playbook, I'm doing the same with my body, so.
You brought up culture, right? And Coach McDaniel talked a little bit about bringing the right guys in. How much more important is that than?
So in case you didn't hear the question from the press, the guy asked him, what's the impetus? What's the thing behind Mike McDaniel wanting to bring the right guys in versus just bringing people in? We've talked about that before. Mike McDaniel loves building the Colts team, and he's not just going to sign anybody. So let's listen to his answer.
Yeah, I think that's really important because if you have someone with talent that does their own thing, it's going to screw up that entire symphony of the offense, the defense, or the special teams. And if you get someone that's less talented but understands what they're doing, their assignment, he's going to be where he needs to be, when he needs to be there, and whatnot. I mean, it's gonna move like a symphony, and guys in the back end are going to be able to help that one specific guy, kind of cover his tracks if he.
You think Mike McDaniel has watched the Miami Heat play? That you don't have to bring in all these stars, that you can bring in guys that some people would call role players, but they're actually doing the job and executing. You see the difference there? In addition to the personality, making sure that you bring in people who are good men of character. You notice we haven't seen any scandals with the Miami Dolphins whatsoever. That's not by accident.
He's a little, if he's not as good as, per se, someone else at that position. So when you put it,
I've said that from months ago, and I've pointed out, and you guys know what I've pointed out. I've pointed out the Christian approach to what Mike McDaniel has done in terms of building this team. Some people have said, stop talking about it, but I'm never going to stop talking about it. Tua is a Christian. A lot of the guys on the team, Tehran, they're Christians, man. And you don't want to bring some guy who's unsavory into the locker room, no matter how good he is. It's just not going to happen. And so what we're seeing is Mike McDaniel is at the Miami Heat sidelines every single home game, especially during the NBA Finals. He's right there, and he can see what Eric Spoelstra has put together. And I'm pretty sure he has sat back and went, wow, this is what you do. You bring in the guys who can play together, and when they can play together, they can overachieve. So it is working. You can't say that it's not working for Eric Spoelstra. So in this next clip, Tua is going to be talking about practicing every single day against the Vic Fangio defense. And listen to what he says.
I remember I was getting hit a lot. I I was getting confused where to go. I think what he does a really good job with his guys is holding shell in the back end. They do a really good job holding shell and, you know, being able to disguise their coverages in that sense. But there's so many nuances to what they do and how they run their defense. So many coverages, you know, it's not just one. There's like a knockoff of like 6 in just one coverage. So you got to know what they're doing. And
see, that's one of the things that I wanted to see happen was a seasoned defensive coordinator like Vic Fangio coming in and throwing all kinds of wrinkles at Tua so that he's prepared when the season comes and people make adjustments to the Dolphins offense. He's already seen it. He's seen Vic Fangio back there like a mad scientist doing everything he can to throw Tua off of his game. Iron sharpens iron. If he can do that in practice, it's only going to make Tua better as well. I think Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel expected this when they brought in Vic Fangio and threw him $4 million a year, that it was also going to help the offense. Let's continue.
if you don't, they'll make you pay.
So I watched, just watching today, there seems to be a motion and a shift, at least one, every single play.
Yeah.
Is that a philosophy where you just want to give the defense as much look at pre-snap as you can?
Yeah, I would say it's something that we've tried to harp on last year during our operation. What we don't want to do is go out, get the defense set, and just run a play. Those guys on the other side are already good, and so forcing them to have to communicate, backs, shifting the fronts, just having to force them to communicate. And
that's a big thing. So everyone last year who saw how the offense faltered in the second half of the year, basically after November, and people were thinking that Tua, quote, was a one-read quarterback, and even Matt LaFleur said he saw some adjustments that he needed to make to take away from what Tua was doing because he was throwing to a spot. So now what they're trying to do is implement even more movement so the defenses can't sit back and read what Tua and the offense are going to do. Every single play has to look different, even if it's the same play. Just motion left, motion right. Do whatever you need to do to make those guys on the other side of the line start thinking. If they're pre-planning what their set's going to be, and they know or have an idea that if we jump this route when Tua gets to do X or Y, that's when interceptions happen. So what they want to do, and as you just heard from him, is to throw the defenses off. So this is very interesting. So what we have coming up here is Vic Fangio talking about the defense that Tua just described that he's practicing against every single day. And this is just OTAs. Wait till they get into training camp and all the different things that Fangio is going to throw at them. So Fangio is going to surprise some people here because he's going to say he's not really confident and satisfied with the players he has in camp right now. Check this out.
What has been your impression when you see the players on the field of the talent that you have on defense?
We have some really good talent at some places.
At some places.
In other places, we've got to find the talent.
So right now, he's already made his assessment. They had OTAs, now they've had mandatory minicamp, and he's already made his assessment and went, hey, man, I got to go out and get some more players. This isn't going to be what I need to be successful. So if they're already working and helping Tua on the offense, it's only going to improve because Vic Fangio just said, I'm not done yet. I got to go find some guys. These guys ain't it.
So I think it's a good mix right now. Our good players have got to play really good for us to be good, and we got to find the other guys to fill in that play good in spite of their lack of playing time and experience.
So where's he going to get these guys? So, everybody's talking about bringing in Dalvin Cook, and Vic Fangio is saying, hey, man, I need some defensive guys. The draft is over. Don't know what free agents are out there. Some guys are going to get cut after camp. Some guys are going to get cut in preseason. He needs to find more pegs for the holes. Not sure. He didn't name anybody, but I've been reading somewhere where people have been saying it's the linebackers and maybe even the depth in the secondary, but he's not satisfied right now with the players on the squad. That is very, very telling. Josh Boyer last year probably would have been fine. We saw what he put out there on the field. Vic Fangio comes in and says, hey, I like what I see. There's some guys that I can use here, but there's a few holes that I need to fix, and they're not here. I got to go find these guys. Did you catch that? It wasn't like I need to coach these guys up. It wasn't like, I think these guys will develop. Nah, out. You're done. There are a few guys on this team right now that Vic Fangio is going to get rid of. He just said it. I have to go find the right players. That is startling. We all saw some defensive stuff last year, and we were like, oh my God, I hope they fix it. Vic Fangio is going to fix it. So I'm not sure if spending a whole bunch of money on Dalvin Cook is in the cards. Like I said, by the time you watch this video, Dalvin Cook may already be a Miami Dolphin. But the look on Vic Fangio's face says, give me a checkbook. I need to go find some guys.
Is anybody catching on to this Barry guy?